but I do have to ask, because this is probably the last time we'll talk to you this month, regarding Halloween. We know that's at the end of the month. And so if you can briefly touch upon what your recommendation is for those who are looking to celebrate Halloween and the upcoming gatherings that likely will happen, and any other final thoughts that you have here today.
Ryan, my final thoughts kind of leads to the Halloween. We have Halloween coming up at the end of October. Then we have Thanksgiving coming up, my favorite holiday of the entire year, because it's just about gathering together, eating, resting, watching football, talking story, connecting to your loved ones, your family and friends. And then we go into the holiday season and then New Year's. And you think about New Year's on Oahu and everywhere around. It's about family coming together again and celebrating all their traditions that are unique to us. And how do we go through this period of time and not see the spread of the virus? And I'm very, very concerned that that could happen. It could happen. And we could be facing another stay-at-home, work-at-home order as we enter the holiday season, one of the most special times of the year, where we're all in our homes and not together. So how we go about celebrating these traditions is critical. Now, earlier, about a week ago, I talked about perhaps there's a way to do some form of Halloween trick-or-treating based on looking at best practices suggested. But just yesterday, the Department of Health and Libby Char announced that they really think there should be no Halloween trick-or-treating at all, and that you should celebrate as a family in your home and not going out to other homes, because there is risk. And, I talked about wearing a face covering on top of your face mask, or under your face, your costume, talked about, drive-by trick-or-treating. But I'm going to rely on the Department of Health on this one. And so I do think that we should really look at what we do this Halloween, and perhaps with our keiki, or even adults like to dress up for Halloween. If you want to dress up, do it, but do it in your home. You can carve your pumpkin together. You can do, pretend trick-or-treating in the backyard or walk up. You can do things in a very different way. I think we need to do that, and we should follow the advice of the Department of Health, and I think they base their decision on the CDC recommendations for Halloween. So I'm going to support that as mayor. Now, what do we do as we go into Thanksgiving? And, the Salvation Army just told us this week that they're not going to do their annual Thanksgiving dinner at the Blaisdell. And, you guys cover that. And it's a very touching time. You see folks coming in, homeless folks, seniors who have no family, have no one. And they're coming out and eating in this very special tradition, sitting next to people they don't know and making contact and becoming a little bit more feeling good about themselves. And now we're in this pandemic where there's a lot of isolation, and they're not going to be able to come out this Thanksgiving at the Blaisdell. But how do we reach out to those families, and how do we reach out to our own families in ways that give us connection? And it's going to be important. We cannot have 20 people gathering in our home around the table, spending 4 or 5 hours, and then go lying down and next to each other and watching a football game, to the extent there's a football game to watch. And we're going to have to be careful. Tier 2 allows more gathering size, but we're going to have to be careful. And so my closing message is this: we have to accept the fact, the reality, that we're not going to be able to go back to where we were for a long time to come. We're just going to have to accept that. We're going to have to adjust how we live on this very fragile island in a pandemic. We have to do it in a way where we protect each other so we can live in a more open way, but not in a fully open way, until there is a vaccine and everyone is vaccinated. And I know we can do it. I've seen Oahu doing it. Where we are today from when we reopened shows we actually brought the numbers down as we opened up. So let's keep doing it. Let's get to tier 2. Let's get maybe to tier 3. And let's care for each other, love each other through our actions, our everyday actions. So we're safe, we don't get other people sick, and we can start to return to a more fuller life. With that, I just want to thank all of you for allowing me to come before you, and always talk to you, Yunji and Ryan. And thanks for what you do for all of us.